Now my empty cup is as sweet as the punch. When big desire is the fire in the eyes of chicks whose sickness is the games they play, and when the masquerade is played, the neighbor folks make jokes at who is most to blame today. And then along comes Mary, and does she want to set him free and let him see reality from where she got a name? And will they struggle much when told that such a tender touch of hers will make them not the same? When we met I was sure out to lunch. Now my empty cup is as sweet as the punch. Kids are flung across the stars. The psychodramas and the traumas gone. The songs are endless, sung and hung upon the scars. And then along comes Mary, and does she want to see the stains, the dead remains of all the pain she left the night before? Oh, will their waking eyes reflect the lies and make them realize the urgent cry for sight no more? When we met out to lunch. Now my empty cup tastes as sweet as the punch. Sweet as the punch. Sweet as the punch. Sweet as the punch. Sweet as the punch.
We come into this world unknown, but know that we are not alone. They try to knock us down, but change is coming. It's our time now. Hey, everybody loses it. Everybody wants to throw it all away sometimes. And hey, yeah, I know what you're going through. Don't let it get the best of you. You'll make it out alive. Oh, people like us, we gotta stick together. Keep your head up, nothing lasts forever. Here's to the damned, to the lost and forgotten. It's hard to get high when you're living on the bottom. We are all misfits living in a world on fire. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. Hey, this is not a funeral, it's a revolution after all. Your tears have turned into rage. Just wait, everything will be okay. Even when you're feeling like you're going down in flames. Oh, people like us, we gotta stick together. Keep your head up, nothing lasts forever. Here's to the damned, to the lost and forgotten. It's hard to get high when you're living on the bottom. We are all misfits living in a world on fire. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. You just gotta turn it up loud when the flames get higher. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. They can't do nothing to you, they can't do nothing to me. This is the life that we choose, this is the life that we lead. So throw your fists in the air, come out if you dare. Tonight we're gonna change forever. Everybody loses it. Everybody wants to throw it all away sometimes. Oh, people like us, we gotta stick together. Keep your head up, nothing lasts forever. Here's to the damned, to the lost and forgotten. It's hard to get high when you're living on the bottom. We are all misfits living in a world on fire. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. You just gotta turn it up loud when the flames get higher. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. We are all misfits living in a world on fire. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. You just gotta turn it up loud when the flames get higher. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us.
It's UUCC Zoom-In Live with special guest Don Stimpert. Now here's your host, David Kantor, with co-host Claudia Victoroff.
Well, good evening, everybody. Glad you're all here with us this evening for UUCC Zoom-In Live. Please say welcome our co-host, Claudia Victoroff. Claudia, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hello, David.
So, Claudia, I noticed that you have not one bashing on the audience tonight, but two. So your mother, of course, is a groupie for the show. She's always here. but I noticed that your grandmother is here tonight as well. So there's no pressure on you tonight at all, right?
No. Hi, Grandma.
Did she know? Did you tell her you were handling the whole show tonight and I could just walk away and walk on the beach now?
Yeah, everybody knows that you're just heading out today. I'm taking over.
And so while your grandmother is here, I was looking at the guest list here. Looks as though Don has multiple Stimperts here tonight as well. One of them, I'm guessing, is probably his son. So he's got pressure from below. You got pressure from above, I guess. So everybody, we're very, very happy that Claudia is with us tonight. As some of you might know, Claudia has agreed to become a permanent co-host for the show. We heard you. We got your cards and letters, and Claudia, your groupies came out and screaming. And Claudia told me at the first live coffee hour a couple weeks ago that she was interested in being a permanent co-host. So here she is tonight, and of course she'll be with us once a month. The second show each month. Will Barrett will keep doing the first one, and Claudia will be with us for show number 2. So thank you very much, Claudia. We're glad you're with us.
Be here.
So Claudia, you mentioned this before, so but I'm just curious about this. So you're still doing everything at Case virtually, right? So Claudia's in a PhD program there, gang, and she teaches courses there too, of course. Right now you're doing everything virtually, is that correct?
Yeah, everything except for lab work is virtual, and I
And
have
what's going to happen next fall when this semester's over? What happens?
next fall. I'm checked out. I don't have any classwork after this semester, so I'll be just working on my research and taking my qualifying exams, which are like the hazing ritual of PhDs. But I'll just be focused on my research this fall, so I don't really know what's going to happen in Case. I haven't paid attention.
And so Claudia, just remind everybody again what you're doing your research on.
I study tree fungal interactions. So I look at the fungal communities on roots.
Does fungal mean like something like fungus?
Fungal is fungus, yes.
Fungal is fungus.
Mycology, the study of fungus.
Got it. Okay. So everybody, a quick reminder for you all, please use the chat function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to announce yourself. Make sure you send it to everybody and not just the panelists, okay? Because your fellow congregants want to know that you are here. We can see because we have the secrets thing that lets us see. Nobody else knows that you're here unless you tell them.
If you've been with us before, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time with us, we're glad that you're here. We hope that being with us every couple of weeks becomes part of your routine. And if you're enjoying yourself, tell your UUCC friends. The more, the merrier. If you've missed a past show and you want to check it out, many of the episodes are available on the UUCC YouTube channel. And there are a couple episodes that are being held up due to using music without permission. So we'll do some editing on those and they'll be up someday. Someday I'm hoping we don't have to make that announcement anymore.
So we always fall behind because we get informed by people that we're by YouTube that we have a no there, and they have to go and act to do some editing, blah blah blah. Well, everybody, we've established a Jack Ullman comedy moment where we hear some jokes from Jack. As many of you know, Jack recently returned to Cleveland from his winter jaunt to Florida and got back here just in time for our April snow. So everybody, please welcome Jack Ullman. Jack, the floor is yours.
Good evening, David and Claudia. Good to be with you again. Do you know what you get when you cross an elephant and a rhinoceros? I know. Feel free to text me when you get that one. Tonight's story involves George and Martha, kind of like the Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, George and Martha. One night as they lay in bed reading and preparing for sleep, Martha turned to George and said, "You look rather pensive. Is something bothering you?" George replied, "You know Tom up in accounting?" "Yes," said Martha. "I met him at several company parties. Why?" "Well, he dropped dead of a massive coronary right at work. There was nothing anyone could do. I was wondering if something like that happened to me, do you think you'd remarry?" "Well, I like being married and I don't want to be alone. So yes, I suppose I would remarry." "You mean you'd be sharing this bed with another man after all we've been through?" "Well, like I said, I wouldn't want to be alone." "You mean another man would be using my power tools in my shop in the basement?" "Well, I suppose if he had the same hobbies, wouldn't want that stuff to sit there and rust." "Well, please don't tell me you'd let him use my brand new Spalding golf clubs." No, I'd never do that. And besides, he's left-handed." Well, you gotta give credit to a woman who plans ahead. That's it for Jack's jokes. Back to you, Claudia. Back to you, David.
Thanks, Jack. Well, our special guest tonight is Don Stimpert. Don is a longtime leader in congregational activities, both at First U and now at UUCC. Don was a two-term president of the board of First U, which is unique in its own right, but he was also president in consecutive years, which almost never happens. But beyond being board president, Don has been involved in virtually every significant volunteer role in the administrative workings of either First U or UUCC, from being involved in the financial analysis of the reunification of the two congregations, to currently serving on leadership council and our finance, investment, and stewardship committees, to creating Son of Realm. You'll hear more about that later. It's important to the operational well-being of the congregation. Don is there. In fact, when a difficult question comes up, the correct answer often is, go ask Don. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm UUCC welcome to Don Stimpert. Look, Don is here with his UUCC Zoom-In Live mug. Well done, Don. Good.
Yes.
That's excellent product placement. We appreciate that. Thank you. So, Don, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine. I have a desk. I have a guest chair. I'm ready to start interviewing. So
So, as I told Don before the show started, I was at the live coffee hour yesterday with a few other intrepid souls. And those people all allege that they are good friends of Don. And they said to me yesterday, you make that Stimpert guy toe the line. You put him on the hot seat and you ask him all the hard questions. So Don, I already asked you how you're doing. It's all downhill from there, man.
yeah.
So we ask everybody about how they're dealing with COVID, Don. So how are you dealing with COVID? Have you gotten your vaccinations yet?
Yeah, I got my shots about a month ago, the second one about a month ago. Time to be able to go to California for a week at the end of March. So, and at this point, all our kids have had their shots, or at least one of them. So we're in pretty good shape.
So did you have any side effects from the vaccinations?
I got sore on the second one, but nothing terrible.
Yeah, I went after my second one. I got really angry also. Yeah. So are you doing anything differently now from when you did before you were vaccinated?
Yeah, I would say so. We went to a movie on Saturday night.
You went inside a movie theater?
Inside the movie theater.
So is that why you have that little mini me growing on your shoulder right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I should wear my mask because I don't want any of you to catch it.
so how did it feel being inside a movie theater?
We felt okay. I mean, they had every other row blocked off and there really weren't all that many people there. I thought it was okay.
And how was the virus-free popcorn?
The virus-free popcorn was good. We usually don't get popcorn, but it was free with our vaccination card.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow. Okay. So now I know why you went to the movies, just went to the free popcorn. Got it.
That's
Okay.
right.
So Don, is it feeling to you as though more people are actually getting vaccinated these days? What's your vibe about all this?
I think it's slowing down, isn't it? I think the people who want the vaccine have pretty much gotten it. And then there's a bunch of skeptics.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Well, Don, I'd like to hear a little bit about your personal history to get us started. I just learned where you're from, but could you tell the audience, please?
Well, first, I have a question for you, Claudia, because according to my sign up here, you're the guest and I'm the co-host.
What?
And so I wanted to ask you the question we ask all our guests, which is if you could go out to dinner with anybody living or dead, what would you order?
This is not the question we ask.
Just say blackened scallops, Claudia. Blackened scallops. If you want.
Blackened scallops. I don't eat blackened scallops. I like grape leaves. Rolled grape leaves, my #1 food. Okay, where are you from, Don?
I was born in Spokane, Washington. We lived in Washington for until I was about 8. Then we moved to Kansas and lived in Kansas for about 6 years, and then we moved to Cleveland.
So Don, are you a Gonzaga fan?
No, I'm not a fan.
You know, Gonzaga's in Spokane. That's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, but I was pretty little when we left Spokane, so I wasn't even aware of that.
But were you a Jesuit Catholic then? Because that's what, never mind. Okay, go on.
I have this Kansas flag up for you, actually, Don.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So Don, how did you land in Cleveland? What brought you here?
My parents.
Okay. Can you tell us about your family structure? Why did your parents bring you to Cleveland?
My father worked for the VA hospital, and he would transfer every 5 years or so to a different hospital, and so he came here from Kansas and worked at the VA in University Circle.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math. 6 years in Spokane, 8 years in Kansas. So you were a tween when you moved to the Cleveland area, right?
It was no, I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slightly above a tween. So what was your family like from a religious perspective? Did you go to church?
My mother went to a Unitarian church in Kansas and in Cleveland. I don't know if she did in Washington. And my father pretty much didn't go to church, but my mother dragged the kids.
So if you were asked what religion would you say that you grew up UU?
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
My parents were both Catholic growing up, and they got married in the Catholic Church, and they baptized their kids in the Catholic Church just to be on the safe side. But that was probably the only time I was ever in a Catholic church.
So when you were in Cleveland, did you grow up at First U?
Yes.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
You didn't know that either, David. All
You
right.
didn't know that, David?
No wonder you were there before me. And I didn't grow up in the church, obviously, so.
Well, ninth grade, we got here in 9th grade, and I kind of drifted away in 11th or 12th grade and didn't come back until our kids were little.
So you
Was
moved
that 2 or 3
around
years
a
or
bit.
something?
Oh,
Don, was that like 2 or 3 years or something?
Yeah. Obviously, since our kids are in their 40s, yeah, I must have had them when I was in my teens.
so Don, you moved around a bit when you were young and you grew up UU. What would you say growing up was the biggest life lesson that you learned? That's David's question. I just have to ask it.
Then ask David.
Well, yeah. What he wants to say is he already knew it all, Claudia. He had nothing to learn.
Okay. Yeah,
And
growing
I'd
up
like to
UU,
tell you
you
that
know
also.
everything already. I can relate to that, Don. You're wise and spiritual.
Sure.
Just. Are you passing on that question or do you want to think about it?
I'll pass on that question.
Okay. Don, where did you go to college?
I went to Case Western Reserve.
Oh, okay. It's relatable. And what was your major there?
Well, I started out in physics and ended up in management science.
And when you were a physics major turned management science major, what did you want to be?
I never really figured that out. And I kind of stumbled into computer programming, which was just kind of a sideline of what I had been doing. But it was the only place where I was able to find a job.
I stumbled into fungal ecology too. Thanks, Don.
So Don, let's fast forward to today. Tell us about your family now. What's your nuclear family all about now?
Our oldest is Allison. She lives on the West Coast with her husband and two boys. And then next is Courtney. She lives in Shaker Heights with a boy and two girls. And youngest is David, and he lives on the same street as Courtney. And he has twins, a boy and a girl.
And are you married, Don?
You better ask Jackie about that.
So speaking of Jackie, how did you meet her?
We met at the Unitarian Church.
No way. So tell us how that happened.
It was actually not through the church. It was the Unitarian Players, the theater group. And my mother and Jackie's mother were both involved working on a play. And I was doing the lights for the play, and Jackie was unemployed and was stopped by to see her mother and saw me instead. I guess she liked me better than her mother or something. I don't know.
It's just one more reflection about how there is no accounting for taste, right? Just absolutely.
And I thought that you weren't supposed to be visible behind the scenes when you're working on a play.
Well, it was not. It was during rehearsals.
Okay.
So Jackie's mother was actually painting the set or something like that, and I was setting up lights.
So for those of you who are newer to the congregation, way back when First Unitarian actually had a theater group called, what's it called? It was the Unitarian Players, right? That's what they were called?
Yes.
And they put on what, 2-3 plays a year or something?
I think it was 3. Yeah.
And Don was going to be the lead in the next play for playing Don Quixote. They couldn't figure out how to get the horse into the church, though. That's a whole nother story, though. So Don, tell us about outside of First U and UUCC. Tell us about you say you manage in management science, and you said that's where you can get a job. So what did you do?
For most of my career, I was a computer programmer at Medical Mutual.
So was that a part of a master plan? Just kind of plop into that.
I just flopped into it. There was. I don't do much planning. I just kind of take the easy road to wherever.
So you just got a peaceful, easy feeling. Got it. So you're retired now, right?
Yeah.
So when you look back upon your whole work of life, what was the best thing about your work life?
I liked being able to solve problems for people.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times where people would say, I really kind of need to know this, but I have no idea how to figure it out. And that's where it was kind of fun to help them figure it out.
So like at UUCC, people would say, go ask Don.
Yeah.
So we're going to switch gears from talking about this, so I keep saying to my co-hosts that one of these episodes, I'm going to figure out how to orchestrate the question asking so I can do the Colbert lightning round, but I still have not worked that out, and it's not going to work out that way tonight as well. So the Colbert lightning round, for those of you who don't know, is based on an episode of the Colbert Show, late night TV, where he first did this 15 question sequence with 3 big time celebrities, and I had them answer the questions. And I liked it so much that I took it and adapted it for us to use. We only asked 9 questions though. And after one of our prior guests, Lori Albright, said she's gonna be real prep because she memorized all the questions. our tonight's producer, Liz Kantor, came up with some other questions from somewhere else that we could ask as well. So now I do a mixed bag of questions. It used to be easy. There were 15 questions. I asked 9 and called it a day. Now I have to pick 9 questions out of like 40. It takes me a lot more time to do it, but that's what the Colbert Lightning Round is. And Claudia, that's yours tonight. So have a good time with Don with this.
All right, Don, are you ready?
It sounds like you're going to ask about 8 questions too many.
Well, the first one's a really big, important one. What is the best sandwich?
A Reuben.
Huh. What's the best concert you've ever attended?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Ooh. What's the scariest animal?
A bear.
Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Okay. What do you think happens when we die?
That's it.
What's your favorite holiday?
That's it. Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. What is your greatest extravagance?
Travel, I guess.
You can listen to one song for the rest of your life. What is it?
Well, you know, I think David's waiting for somebody to say people like us. So, but I've thought about that. You know, my answer is I think any song would drive me absolutely nuts, and so my answer is no song.
All right. I think people like us, I'm assuming like one song for the rest of your life. It's a little like dystopic, like post-apocalyptic, and like maybe you'll feel a little lonely if you're listening to that song over and over again. So I agree. Okay, describe the rest of your life in 5 words, Don.
Kids, grandkids, travel, golf, and death.
Okay, that's it.
I want to point out, Claudia, that without being too obvious about it, he did not say Jackie, but that's another story for another day. Don, good luck for yourself tonight. Go on. Claudia, you're up.
All right, Don,
Yeah, I guess that says something about what's going to be happening tonight, huh?
Yeah, I think that might be.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, Don, let's talk about you and UU. So you found UU as a child. Is it just connection through your mother?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think for most kids, they go to the church their parents take them to. And you don't really think about, oh, well, I feel like a Jew or Catholic or whatever.
Did it appeal to you then?
It just was what it was, I guess.
Okay, so what about it appeals to you now? Obviously, you're here by choice now.
Yeah, it's the community, getting together with people. I mean, I think that a large percentage of my friends are people from the church.
So you're staying for the bowling league then?
Yeah, the bowling league. Well, the bowling league is only, I mean, it is the Plymouth Church Bowling League. It's not the First U or UUCC Bowling League. But at this point, thanks to some evangelistic bowlers, we've got, what, about 10 people from the church in the bowling league, David?
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10. Depends how you count Steve Hairston.
Oh. Is Steve on the call here?
So Don, how did you get involved in leadership activities at the church in the first place?
I got snookered into it by Dwight Brown. I wasn't even a member of the church, and Dwight Brown approached me and said, you know, you really ought to join the church. And I said, well, why? And he said, well, you know, it demonstrates that you are, you know, you have a commitment to the church and so on. And I said, well, I just don't want, you know, I've been around for 15 years or something like that, and I don't want to make a big deal about it. And he said, oh, no, we'll just do it on the QT. You just come to my office and sign the book, and that'll be the end of it. So that's what I did. And then he made a big deal about it in Sunday service, and had me come up on the stage and wave to the masses below and stuff. So that wasn't very pleasant. And then, of course, 3 years later, they asked me to be on the board because I was eligible. And I said, well, okay. And then after my first year on the board, the president was retiring and the vice president was moving away. And they probably asked about 6 other people before they asked me, but I was the sucker who said yes. And so I was president then for 2 years.
So, and you were president then for 2 years in a row, right?
Right.
Do you remember anybody else serving 2 terms consecutively before you did?
I don't know. I think there were. I think maybe Pete Spencer might have done it. I don't remember. I think
it feels like
had
back then
happened
serving 2
before.
years back to back almost made you kind of like a unicorn, right?
There haven't been too many.
So what happened that you served 2 years back to back? Was this a Stimpert coup d'etat? Is Jackie's name really Evita? Tell us about this. How'd that happen?
Well, as I said, I got snookered into being the president in my junior year on the board. So that made it possible. Usually people weren't asked to be president until their last year on the board. And so then there really wasn't anybody who wanted to step up to be president. And I was kind of interested in it because we had a new minister coming.
Who was that?
It was Tony Perino.
Tony Perino. Uh-huh. And what happened, Don?
Nothing good. Yeah, so Tony Perino, before he came, he came to Cleveland to tell me and Kemp Smith, who was the chair of the search committee, that he had been accused of some sexual impropriety. And so we talked about, what do we do about this? He was already in the process of packing his stuff, and he hadn't been convicted or whatever you call it. It was just a complaint that was lodged. So we let him come, and over the course of time, more women came forward and filed complaints. And so it turned into kind of a nightmare.
So this is what, like almost 30 years ago or something?
Ask Jackie.
So I remember because Mary Ellen and I were relatively new to the congregation then when this was happening, because we had gotten there when Betty Doty was there. So it'd been like our 3rd year with the congregation. This goes back almost 30 years. So Don, would you say this is one more time that you could say that a Unitarian congregation was in the vanguard of houses of spirituality?
What?
Would you say this is one more time that a UU congregation was in the vanguard of all houses of spirituality with our little bit of a Perino incident?
Vanguard is usually a good word, isn't it?
This means you're out front is all it means.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think the Catholic Church has a longer history than that, but they kept it secret for a long time.
So Don, there's some buzz that you've developed a new video game called Son of Realm, which is like a next generation dystopia game that follows in the footsteps of Doom and Death March and games like that. So what can you tell
Yeah.
us about Son of Realm, and when will it be available for sale to the public?
Well, so far, I'm the only one that's been allowed to play it. So for the right amount of money, I'll let you play too.
So those who don't know, so our membership database is called Realm, and Don's being very modest about this. So Realm has like 9,000 faults to it, and so Don has developed this thing called Son of Realm, which cuts the number of faults in Realm down in half, and actually makes it something that is really, really functional for us. It's one of those things that Don's experience and knowledge for what he used to do for a living has really come into good stead for UUCC. So, Don, when you look over the list of things you've done at First U and UUCC, everything from the board and being board president to finance committees and investments and leadership council and databases and stewardship and heritage, what have you, the list goes on and on. Of all the things you've done to support the congregation, what's been the most fun?
I'd say Son of Realm has been the most fun. Either that or the solar panels.
And what would you say you found to be the most meaningful?
Meaningful. I don't know. I don't attribute meaning to things. I think that's for other people to judge.
Ah, that's where we differ, but never mind. Claudia?
Don, it says here that you enjoy traveling and have done a lot of it to some distant places. Does that mean that you've gone to Sandusky?
I have been to Sandusky, yes. Not very often, but I have
Okay.
been.
So can you give us a broader idea of where you've been?
Well, I guess the most unusual place I've been is that Jackie and I went to the Magdalen Islands in the Gulf of St. Lawrence in the middle of winter during the baby seal hunt.
Oh my gosh.
We were part of a group that was trying to show the locals that they could have a tourist industry instead of just the hunting industry. And I don't know if we were very successful at that, but it was an interesting trip, and we took helicopters out onto the ice and walked around and saw the baby seals. And seal hunting is not very much hunting. It's mostly just killing, because the seals are just sitting there and you just have to walk up to them. They can't go anywhere. And so it's kind of interesting. And we didn't really see much of the hunting. We were supposed to not see any of it. But, you know, when we got up in the helicopters, if you looked off in the distance, you'd see it.
Wow, that sounds pretty jarring. Is the culture there very dependent on the hunting of the?
Well, it was at the time. I don't really know what's happened. I mean, this was a long time ago. It was before I think it was before we had any kids. Jackie is a real animal person and really wanted to do this. And so we went, and it was an interesting trip.
It sounds like an interesting trip. I thought when you started that you were going to be talking about the trip that you enjoyed the most. It seems like maybe that's the most interesting trip, but maybe not the most enjoyable trip.
I would agree with that.
So where that you've gone do you think has been the most enjoyable place?
Well, the most enjoyable trip probably was when we went to the Galapagos Islands.
Oh, wow.
It was partly because it's an interesting place, and you know, you see a lot of different animals, but mostly it was because we had our whole family there, and So we flew. My second daughter was actually, by the time we went, she was married to her husband. But when we made the plans, they were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And then Allison and David didn't at that time have any attachments. So we told them, okay, well, between now and 18 months from now, you can't hook up with anybody. And Courtney, you can't ditch Dan. Because we bought these tickets 18 months in advance.
As someone who's taken a now ex-boyfriend on vacation, I can sympathize with your children.
But it was really nice because, you know, we were all in this boat together, and everything was planned out, and our cruise director would say, okay, at 8 o'clock, you need to be at the back of the boat to get in the Zodiacs to go on, you know, and everybody had to be there, and we all made it and went, and it was, we didn't have to suffer from any complaints from the kids about, you know, why do I have to do this?
Because it wasn't your choice, it was the tour director's choice.
Yep.
That's very cool. Don, what gave you the travel itch that it sounds like you have?
I don't know. I enjoy seeing different places. You know, both the trips that I mentioned have an animal component, which is really Jackie's thing. But like to see different things and do different things. And so that's the way we do it.
Well done, thank you.
You know, Don, it's kind of funny because if you were to ask Mary Ellen her favorite trip we've taken, she'd say Ireland, both because she was basically making a trip back home and also because we took our kids on that. I would say my favorite trip was going to Australia and New Zealand because we didn't take the kids with us on that trip and we just went by ourselves. That's just the difference we have. Last question for you, Don. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I'd like to be able to tell what people are really thinking instead of just what they're saying.
Okay, we'll stop right there then now. And we're going to take our mid-show break now, gang. So we can get your questions for Don organized. So if you have a question for Don to ask, please have a question to ask Don. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen and ask it. Do not use the chat button. We'll get things organized for you to ask your questions when we return. But first, our mid-show break. And this was a suggestion from our special guest. Tonight's mid-show music is the Star-Spangled Banner. You don't need to stand up and salute unless you want to. And this is performed by Lady Gaga. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
To honor America and perform our national anthem, please welcome Academy Award nominee and 6-time Grammy winner, Lady Gaga.
Oh, say, can you see
This is not the same one.
by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
So yes, there was Lady Gaga singing the Star-Spangled Banner. So that was performed at the 2016 Super Bowl. Those of you who care, that was Super Bowl number 50. The Denver Broncos, who were quarterbacked by Peyton Manning, you would have seen his picture there, defeated the Carolina Panthers 24-10. This was a couple of years before Lady Gaga starred with Bradley Cooper in the movie remake of A Star Is Born, and really made it to the big time. So Don, do you know what Lady Gaga's actual name is? It might shock you to know that her parents did not name her Lady Gaga out of the womb.
I've heard it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so her real name was Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanata. Of course, everybody has on the tip of their tongues, of course. So Don, you ready to take some questions from the audience?
I guess.
You sound so enthused.
I
First
am.
question's for a guy named Michael Stimpert. Do you know this guy, Don?
I know a Mike Stimpert, but I don't know Michael.
Okay, well, this must be his formal name. So Mike Stimpert, you're on the air with Don Stimpert.
Oh, I didn't know I was actually going to be live on this thing.
Oh, you are live.
Okay, my question for my brother is how does he not know that that first of all, we were members of the UU Church in Seattle, Washington, and secondly, that our mother started a UU Church in Topeka.
Well, I did know that she started the church in Topeka. I just don't have any recollection of Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as old as you are, Michael.
Touche.
Hey, but at least he showed up tonight. You know, Don, can't knock that.
Yeah.
So let's see. Next question comes from Mary Ellen McNulty. Mary Ellen, you're on with Don Stimpert.
Hey, Don, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm all right.
How's your back? Okay.
Getting better every day. All I'm allowed to do is walk. I keep saying, isn't there another exercise? And they go, yeah, no, not really. Just walk. So I can't do anything else. And do you know how little 10 pounds is? I can't lift anything more than 10 pounds. 10 pounds is nothing. I
Mary
have
Ellen, do you have a question for Don?
Yeah, I have found as I've walked around the house and Dave has screamed at me how little 10 pounds is. Okay, Don, I remember listening to stories from your mother-in-law and father-in-law in years gone by about you being pretty handy and you helping build a cabin at one point with your father-in-law. Is that right?
No, it was at 2 points.
Oh, that's right, because one burned down.
Yeah. They bought some property in Chardon, and they were building a cabin, and Jackie and I were helping off and on. One day they were putting polyurethane on the floor. The cabin was nearly done, and it was in the winter, and so they had built a fire in the fireplace and then let it go out, and they had opened all the windows to let fresh air get in. But as they put the polyurethane down, they closed the windows and then closed the door on their way out. They were smart enough to not paint themselves into a corner. They painted themselves to the door. And the next morning they came back and the cabin actually had exploded is what happened. And,
Oh my God.
so then the next spring,
No.
Jackie and I both quit our jobs and we helped them build the second version of it.
Oh my God.
And it was all done with hand tools because there was no electricity and no.
I remember that hand tools. I remember him telling me about the hand tools
Yep.
and how you had to fit things together.
Yes, and if it didn't fit right, I mean, we didn't have any extra materials, so if it didn't fit right, we had to put our initials next to the piece that didn't fit right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, Jackie's father is the only one that didn't have any initials on the house.
That's hilarious. Oh, that was a good story. I didn't remember the not fitting right part.
So Don, is the cabin still there? Do you guys still own it? Do you still go out to it?
It's still there. Jackie's parents decided, I guess it was 10 or 15 years ago, they decided they couldn't keep up with it anymore. And we talked about buying it from them, but it was just, we weren't using it very much. And so they ended up selling it to the Geauga County Park District. And we have an easement to use the cabin as we have in the past. So we still go out there a few times a year and mostly just work, mow the grass and fix the screens and things like that.
So is this kind of like your version of Little House on the Prairie?
No, not really. It's just a little cabin. There's no running water, no electricity, and we go out there and relax or work or both.
Next question comes for you, Don, comes from Allison Bashan. Allison, you're on with Don Stimpert.
Okay, Don, nice to see you. Now that we've all been vaccinated, are you looking forward to joining the Pizza and Beer Bowling League again?
The Pizza and Beer Bowling League was not something that I got excited about. First off, it's in the summer, and I don't like to really have a regular commitment during the summer. And secondly, it wasn't serious enough bowling for me.
That's for sure. It's not serious at all.
It's because my mom and I were bowling.
That's why we bowl in it.
Wait a second. Claudia, you and your mother take your bowling very seriously.
I got a pin. I won a pin. I am most improved. Don, you signed my pin and you're not going to be in the league again?
We need,
I want you to know, you guys
we need
to
a
know
coach
that
like
I've
you,
had the
Don.
privilege of being on the same team with Claudia and Allison before, and it is a very different experience from the men's league. I will just say that.
That's because it's a better experience than the men's.
It's a much better experience. And
Way
goodness
more
knows
fun.
that you and Allison are far better people to be around for all sorts of reasons than my normal bowling partners in the wintertime. I'll say that.
Way more excited about a way lower score.
Right, exactly. Hey, I take pictures of the screen if I get 100.
That is true, sadly,
Yeah.
but true.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Allison. Lori Albright, you have a question for Don Stimpert.
I do have a question for Don Stimpert. Don, I just, I so appreciate you being part of this UUCC community that I love. You've just made so many contributions in so many ways throughout the years. And speaking of throughout the years, you've had a window into lots of different ministers. So my question is, who's your favorite minister out of all the universe of ministers that you've encountered?
That's a question that I don't know how I can answer without getting somebody mad. Believe it or not, my favorite minister as a minister was Tony Perino.
Oh, wow. That's a surprising answer. I never knew Tony. He was so briefly there that.
Yeah, it was very brief, but I thought he brought a lot of energy to the Sunday services. So, yeah.
To me, he was around for more than 6 minutes, Don.
He left in November, so it was.
I'm saying, so how about for a minister who was around more than 6 services or something?
I liked Bruce Marshall.
Yeah, I thought he was really gifted when it came to the sermon department.
Pregnant pause.
Okay.
Thanks, Lori.
All right. Thanks, Don.
Mhm.
So we have another question here from, this looks like it's from Don's daughter, Allison. Allison, you're on the air with Don Stimpert.
Hi, so my question is actually from Nico. What's your question? You can say it a little louder.
Mine is I actually have multiple questions, and
Let's just because other people need a turn, and then we can come back and ask more.
what 14 words would you say in the rest of your life if you could only say 14 words in the rest of your life?
Wow. I have no idea. Boy, you know, Nico, that is a really good question. And I think that David Kantor should put that on the list for future panelists.
So the words I would use, you can't say on TV because there'd be George Carlin's 7 words plus a few others. Yeah.
I have no idea, Nico. That's a really good question. Food would be one of them. You need to be able to communicate the basic needs. So food, water.
Bathroom.
Bathroom. Yeah. Oh, now Claudia's counting. What? Bed.
Bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think good would be a good word. I don't know.
You have a
Maybe
comment in the
Jackie?
chat. What about Jackie?
Maybe Jackie, maybe.
I've already ruined my chances with Jackie. I don't think that
Jackie,
I can buy my way back in. Nico, that was a very difficult question. I'm going to think about it and I will write you an email, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Don. Well, Nico's was, I'm sure you're going to be sorry to hear this, but Nico was the last question for this evening. So you're off the hook now. So we're running out of show now. So let's move towards wrapping up here. We had one comment following our last show, and it came from Valerie McFadden, who is one of the winners from our raffle for responding to our Zoom-In Live audience survey. And she said she can't believe I won the Zoom-In Live award. Very memorable mug, and the gift card was an unexpected bonus. I appreciate all the work that you and the team, as well as your guests, put into producing the event. Definitely a bright spot during the pandemic. Thank you for your kind words, Valerie. For the future shows, if any of you have comments or questions to share, please send them to Zoom-In, that's ZOOMIN, at uucleveland.org. Again, that is Zoom-In, ZOOMIN, at uucleveland.org. We will do our best to answer your questions. If they're long ones, offline. If you have questions that basically we can share with the audience here, we of course will do that. So Don, thank you again for being our special guest tonight. Claudia, how about our next show?
Our next show will be on Monday, May 10th, with the special guest Molly Watkins, who I think is here tonight. So who's that lady who helps lead the youth choir in all the beautiful music that they make? That's Molly. But of course, like all of our other guests, this tidbit is just a tip of the iceberg to what it comes to learning about Molly, who just completed her PhD a few weeks ago. So join us in 2 weeks when David interviews Dr. Molly Watkins, helped along the way by co-host Will Barrett and Jack Ullman. Join them all on May 10th for our next episode of UUCC Zoom-In Live.
Thanks, Claudia. So we're running out of show. So gang, let's give a major league round of applause to Liz Kantor, our producer. Hey, Liz. As I say each show, my co-host and I do the easy stuff. Liz, and then the alternate shows, Carol Gay has to make sure that things actually happen. So thank you, Liz. And as a reminder, if you'd like to catch up with your fellow congregants after the show, just stay right here for a chance to chat with your fellow UUs. Liz will get you squared away right after our wrap-up music. And speaking of which, we're going to leave you tonight to a song that really reflects Don Stimpert. We're going to hear Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive. We'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks for the next episode of UUCC Zoom In Live. Don and Claudia, say good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Nico.
Did you hear that? He said good night.